developer buy the land cheap doesn't mean the developer will sell the land cheap. This is a very common saying because look at what happened with our dear PP, Promenade Peak. However, Zyon Grand, at least they buy the land cheap, they have the potential to sell the land cheap, right? But if they buy the land super expensive, then I mean no hope already, don't need to hope already, alright? So today we're going to talk about Zyon Grand, one of the most anticipated launches I think in this coming quarter, because hearsay, a lot of people say that this project, right, is very cheap land cost, the cheapest land cost, which is not wrong. Later we'll do some simple calculations and look at what's the break-even price that this Zyon Grand can allow us to have. But at the same time, today is always not just about selling or talking about Zyon Grand, because again, I'm not part of the so-called the developer sales team, right? I'm not there to sell this project to you, right? I'm here to do a in-depth analysis on what are the resale options around the area versus these new launches, because it's not always that resale or new launches are always the best. Different districts, there are always different types of projects around the area which might pull demand away, or different types of projects around the area which can present a better alternative for you. So let's jump straight to analysis of Zyon Grand versus the resale project in the area, and here bring you the latest analysis on the new launches versus the resale. So let's take a look. Zyon Grand is definitely a project that is pretty good. It has definitely some potential over there. Bought at 1,202 PSF. So we will estimate the developer wants to get around 15% profit margin. They will want to sell around 2,400 plus PSF. But of course, if they want to match up higher, get more profit, they will actually go up to around 2,700 plus PSF. But take note, because of the recent new launches, a lot of them have already, like Promenade Peak, the higher floors hit over 3,000 plus PSF. The developer might feel like they might be leaving a lot of money on the table if they are pricing it at 2,700, because they feel, hey, my nearby projects are selling for so much, why would they price so low? But of course, it's another school of thought. All the demand has already been absorbed by previous projects around the area. They might be worried that they can't sell, inclined to price it more competitively compared to the resale project around the area, which many of them are, mind you, freehold. Let's dive straight into the numbers, right? So number one, okay, first cluster analysis, let's take a look. I've shortlisted a few clusters around there because there's a few projects there that you can consider. Basically, number one, Tribeca By The Waterfront. It's a very interesting name. Tribeca means city. A freehold, 175 units, TOP 2010. It's a boutique riverfront condo beside Great World City, a single 30-story tower. Alright, so Tribeca, I think quite interesting. You look at the project itself, it has a light grey, a bit of a tinted glass, quite a few. Right, then of course you have your Mirage Tower, bigger but older, 248 units, I would say almost twice the size than the Tribeca, and it's even older, 1996. Very interesting project. Then after you go into the newer one, TOP 2013, alright, is a Centennia Suites, alright, freehold, 97 units. Last but not least, I would say Trillium is like the middle of Tribeca, and as well as Mirage Tower, because it has a size of Mirage Tower but the youthfulness of Tribeca. So 237 units and TOP year 2010, alright, and all of these are freehold properties, by the way. So let's dive a little bit more into the numbers. So, okay, you look at this, right? We have the Centennia Suites. These are the numbers that I flashed up for you just now, alright? So basically, let's look at just the average price of Centennia is around 2,279 PSF. Trillium around 2,142 PSF. Mirage Tower significantly more cheaper at 1,766 PSF because of, I think it's because it's just old. They often filter out older, which might lead to lesser demand for Mirage Towers, right? So, and last but not least, Tribeca, the second cheapest, 1,993 PSF on average. But let me just look at the 3-bedroom. There's a slight difference, but the rankings didn't change lah. Okay, so the rankings is still, Centennia Suites is still at the most expensive, 2,300 plus PSF. And if these are the prices for Centennia Suites, right, let's do a simple weigh-in already, alright? So Zyon Grand is launching at 2,400 plus PSF, right? Comparing to Centennia Suites, Centennia Suites is not even the newest, but it's freehold. So Zyon Grand launches at that price because you can still consider Zyon Grand because it's going to be a very new project. It's a much bigger project. It's not a boutique development. So definitely exit plan will be a bit easier. But however, take note that Zyon Grand likely be a 99-year leasehold. That's why you will have to think about the exit strategy next time, right? It's not going to be a long-term hold kind of thing. So Centennia Suites versus Zyon Grand, if it launches at 2,400, 2,500, it might be something that you can consider, because depending on what stage of life are you in, is this property going to be a last property or a transitionary property? You can consider between both these projects lah. And of course, mind you, disclaimer, all this that I mentioned is without factoring your own personal preferences. So again, I'm just going to give a general breakdown, which hopefully I get all the data, you might be more helpful for you. Alright, so going down to the 4-bedroom prices, the rankings still haven't changed as well. Centennia Suites is the most expensive, then followed by this, then after that followed by our dear Tribeca Tribeca, then after that followed by Mirage Towers. Okay, so Mirage Towers is always the so-called the cheapest lah. If you're looking for something, you like the location, you like cheap, Mirage Towers, you can't run away from Mirage Towers, and it's a freehold some more. Alright, so but if you want a quick exit, right, the more higher volume of the area might show more promise of getting the exit easier. Let's go to Tribeca By The Waterfront. Let's take a look at the layout as well, and let's do some simple analysis between the two projects. Tribeca By The Waterfront, simple, quick one. You look at all these, right? These are the capital appreciation over the past few years as a project. So these will not give you insights as to specific bedroom types, but definitely will give you an idea of the entire project, the vibes, what people like about the project, which a rough general consensus of the demand towards that project, because that means how many people take up or like this project compared to other projects. It's just a general guide, right? So Tribeca looking at 3.2, Inspira a bit further, I think 6.4, Trillium 2.6. So Trillium is kind of slightly lagging a little bit in terms of the price appreciation compared to Tribeca. Martin Place is quite high. Centennia Suites also lagging behind Tribeca as well. So Tribeca somehow seems to be quite a king, because I think maybe it's also somewhat at a good, not too bad location lah. Although now it's horrible because why? It's next to the construction site, so it might change in years to come. So this is based on past data. And wow, I see this Cosmopolitan 10.7% and Martin Place. Maybe I'll do another video on that. Comment down in the sections below if you want me to do another video on that. But today I'm going to focus on a few projects because there's too many projects to compare. These are the ones that is in the immediate area nearby. All these other projects might be a bit further down, so that's another cluster which I'll do another video hopefully if I have the time or if there's enough request or demand for these kind of videos. Right, so Tribeca have all these unit sizes, studio units 517 to 570, 2-bedroom 1000 plus, penthouse 1000 plus to 3900, quite a big variation as per usual. 3-bedrooms have 1300 to the 1765. 4-bedroom Tribeca giving a very generous 1900 square feet for 4-bedrooms. So wow, it's a, I mean nowadays you can see a lot of the new launches, Hillock Green, a lot of other launches nowadays. The 4-bedrooms are, if you can get 1300, 1400 is pretty good already. It's pretty generous. So again, kudos to the old kind of condominiums at 2010. And yeah, you know, of course they have my favorite, you know, the swimming pool, the clubhouse, they have the standard stuff all there. Then let's take a look at the higher project itself. Okay, so I mean project Tribeca 就是这样咯, it's like that only咯. These are the place, this is the clubhouse, this is the pool, this is level 2 legend. Okay, and we dive deeper into the 3-bedroom plus study. So again, let's take a look at 3-bedroom plus study. We're looking at the balcony over here. This layout, just taking a look, I think it's not too bad compared to a lot of the older condominiums. What I like is it has a good space. Then also this place, not a lot of wasted space. I kind of like it as well. Living room and dining room very efficiently put out. The kitchen over here, so you have this walk space lah. So in terms of efficiency of the layout space is very efficient, which I like. But some of my clients actually do voice out that actually they don't like this kind of very narrow walkways. It feels very constricted. But actually that's a norm for a lot of efficient layout nowadays, because only in those kind of very old kind of layout you'll see those kind of very expensive, very huge, alright, you'll see like, I don't know, Pine Grove, certain areas you can see, wow, you can see those kind of layout which, wow, is very huge. So this is something that you have not a lot of choice about. But what do I like is efficient, so that you can actually get a lot of bang for your buck for a 1765 square feet unit. But at the same time, right, you can see that what I don't like 765 is not really this space, because there's a planter area that's being factored in, which a lot of the new projects, they don't factor in the planter lah, and all this kind of space. So say planter is also inside, AC latch is inside here. Then of course the master bedroom bath, a bit of an awkward size, awkward shape, but it is what it is lah. So these are the things that I don't really like it. But moving on to the pricing, see the transactions wise, right, May, April, March, February, December, November, every month got around one. So based on this kind of number, I like to extrapolate one. Okay, if every month only got one transaction, or usually your place, if it's priced unreasonably, it's going to take very long to sell. It is priced well, likely will maybe take 3 to 6 months to exit lah, depending on general guidelines. So the sales is not too bad. At least there's one transaction every single month. If there's 0 or 1 every year, that's really horrible. The 1 every year kind is like, I'll have to preempt the seller, you know, yours likely to take a year plus to sell. It's not agent problem, it's just like that. The nature of the project is going to be like that. I always bet them a cup of coffee. This project, right, you change another agent, right, it's going to be the same result, because it's just the project is very difficult to find the buyers. So that one just have to be very patient lah. So again, you have to factor this in mind when you want to buy these kind of projects, right? So pricing to buy and sell, you can take a look at all these, right? Kim Seng Road, looking at this at 1300 plus freehold. So these are transacted last few months lah, May, April, March, February, December, right? Of units that's being sold over the area, right? The PSF is around 2500, as I mentioned before, 2500. So I'm guessing that definitely I would say that there's a good chance that Zyon Grand might go up to 2700. On the day itself, the launch date, right, the prices will change and everything. So if you need more information to compare at that point of time, is the new launch Zyon Grand better or resale project better, right? Then do feel free to WhatsApp me, number in the bio, right? I can give you a free consultation. If you need to sell your project, we also have competitive advantage in addition to our buying advice, because we have a lot of transactions. I've done many transactions on the ground. I've seen many different things before. As well as for selling, right, we charge a fixed fee of $499 for condo, $199 for HDB, as well as $999 for landed, right? So it's a fixed fee, it's not commission based 2%. So you likely save many commissions, right, in the process of using me as an agent. And I have many great testimonials from all my previous sellers before. So I'm not someone not new on the block. Put it out there. You want to sell or buy, you can always ask me for more consultation.